And Zaina, you know, you've got to be watching today with fascination. There are a lot of challenges ahead, but what can you tell us about what's about to happen?
Tatiana, you can probably see or hear, at least behind us, a heavy police presence. There's a lot of security here. This is a day that the French have anticipated for a long time, the day when Emmanuel Macron takes over the presidency. Now, we are quite close to the Élysée Palace. We can't get any closer because of the security, presence of the police here. We expect the new president-elect to arrive any minute. He has left his residence. He's on his way to the Élysée Palace. And once he gets there, we expect him to have a private meeting with the outgoing president, François Hollande. This is really the transfer of power, the peaceful transfer of power that will take place in this country. We understand that the new First Lady, President Macron, has already arrived at the Élysée Palace, and it's just any minute now that Emmanuel Macron will arrive here. After the Élysée Palace, he will make his way to the Champs-Élysées, where he will have a parade, and then he will visit the tomb of the unknown soldiers. Now, this, of course, is all the protocol that's taking place today. But another thing that we're expecting to happen today, or potentially tomorrow, Monday, is for the new president to appoint his prime minister. There's no time to waste. There are a lot of challenges ahead, as you mentioned in your introduction, and we expect the president-elect Emmanuel Macron to get to work as soon as possible.
And Zaina, I mentioned the word challenges earlier, and certainly Macron will be facing many of them. What can you tell us about that?
He will. I mean, this is a country that is still under emergency law because of the wave of terrorist attacks that have taken place over the last year or so. That is something that he's going to have to deal with. Another issue on the table is France's economy. That is one of the things that has divided the French public here. What do you do to address France's unemployment rate? And one of the things that, of course, Macron has tabled is to make it easier for businesses to hire and fire people. Another issue on the table is the relationship of France with the EU. And in fact, his first trip is going to happen on Monday, and we expect him to visit Berlin, where he'll be meeting with Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. So there's a lot ahead, really, for him to address as soon as he takes over the presidency. But at the moment, we're minutes away, really, from him arriving, passing by the road just behind me, making his way to the Élysée Palace, and meeting with the outgoing president, François Hollande.
Thank you very much for that, Zaina. And we just saw the incoming French president be greeted by the outgoing French president. They strolled up the red carpet there into the Élysée Palace. And I want to get more on what's going on. With me here in the studio in Istanbul is Salim Atalay. And Salim, hi. What can you tell us? What do we know about Emmanuel Macron at this point?
It's raining on Macron's parade. It's rainy in Paris, but bonjour Paris. Are you ready for this new president? They're not sure. We're looking at, today is also Mother's Day. We should also congratulate Mother's Day, especially for Monsieur Macron. Now, he didn't look very confident on that red carpet again. He's just, this is symbolism, just broadcasting live from Paris, the new French president. This is an imperial France projecting power to the world. We should watch in that perspective. Yes, France is a republic, but we are looking at the imperial symbols, the pomp and circumstance and everything. What is it? Just
well, you talked about confidence. You said
Sure.
that he didn't look very confident as he was strolling up that red carpet with the outgoing president, François Hollande. And I think you've got to also look at the body language between
Sure.
these two men. I mean, Macron was an advisor to Hollande. He was an economy minister. When you watch them together, what are you seeing?
Master and his creation, and he's not real. Even the master is not sure what he has done, if he's done the right thing or not. For the first time in history, almost the modern history, we're looking at a French president who even didn't dare, Hollande, didn't even dare to be a candidate for re-election. That's one-term presidency. That's not a very good sign for him. Well, he can always say, well, my legacy, and now I have my heir apparent. Fine, but heir apparent, is he ready for the job? The symbolism, are they going to play Ode to Joy again just to give the image? Fine, maybe not. But the whole thing is One symbolism here I expect is that is being pumped constantly, that Hollande is going to give him the nuclear codes for anyone who forgets, and we forget most of the time, that France is a nuclear power. And then there was some sarcastic remarks saying, do you really want to hand over your codes to a 39-year-old president? But that's the other part.
So, Salim, I want to turn back to Zeina Awad. She is in Paris for us. And Zeina, we just saw the two leaders go inside. What is going to be happening when they're inside together? What can you tell us about what's next?
Well, this is the meeting that's going to take place between Macron and Hollande, and it's a closed-door meeting. It's just the two men. There will be no media around. It's a private meeting. They'll probably be discussing the issues of concern here in France, and they'll be doing the transfer of power, which is when the outgoing president will hand over the palace to the new president, will hand over the nuclear codes, and will leave. This is what we're expecting to see in the hour to come, and after that, of course, Macron will head to the Champs-Élysées.
I was talking to Salim, Zeina, just a few moments ago about the fact that these two men know each other quite well. Hollande was a mentor to Macron. What can you tell us about their relationship?
He was his mentor, and in fact, Macron served, the only time Macron ever served in any political office capacity was as an economy minister under Hollande. The relationship is supposed to be very close until, of course, Macron decided to break off and start his own movement, En Marche. And this is the movement that he built. He started a year ago, and he built it up to the point where he was able to take on the presidency, really relegating the two most influential, if you will, parties in France in the last 6 or so decades, the Socialists and the Republicans, to the backstage. So it's been a bit of a political revolution here in France, what has happened with the election of Macron so far. He's been able, in the minds of many, to effectively end or destroy the dominance of these two parties. Now, where he goes from here is the big question, because he's been able to bring in this political revolution, but the challenges facing him remain the same, and they're very difficult questions. They're divisive questions here in France.
And, you know, he is in position at this point. He actually left Hollande's government to campaign for the presidency, and of course Macron won. Now that he's in this position, what are his top priorities? What do you expect he'll tackle first?
He's been quite clear that his top priority is the economy, the relationship with the EU. Those are sort of the two issues that he has talked about, has campaigned on repeatedly. And those are the two, arguably, among the most divisive issues here in France. And so he's got his work cut out for him, because, of course, the big challenge now are the upcoming parliamentary elections in June. This is when Macron will have the task of forming a government. And it's not an easy job, because the French public is divided. He doesn't have the political machinery that the two traditional parties have. And this is what he needs, really, to form the next government. If he's able to get a majority in June in the upcoming legislative elections, then he's probably going to be able to push through his agenda. If he doesn't, then he's going to have to reach some form of accommodation with some of the other parties that he's defeated. And this is where, you know, trouble could start, really. This is where he's going to have to make compromises. The issues on which he was elected by the French public, he may have to compromise on that. So it's a big job ahead of him, Tatiana, and he's very aware of it. He's said it publicly on a few occasions that it's a big task ahead of me. But today, on Sunday, at the moment, there are many people in the streets, despite the heavy police presence. It's a day, there are many French people who are very happy, because they wanted an end to the traditional political system in France. They feel that Macron has brought that end, and they're looking forward to see what he does once he officially becomes the president.